Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you were new here, hi, welcome. My name is Catalina, owner of Krafts made by Cat, a small business that sells cute handmade goods. And if you're back for another video, thank you for coming back. Today is day 12 of Vlogmas. I am just recording this intro because I am just going to take some old footage that I have on my SD card that I haven't uploaded yet and kind of throw what I can together. And then I'm just doing the intro and the outro so that I can get this video uploaded during the day and hopefully get a kickstart on the rest of Vlogmas. With that said though, I will be opening day 12 of Vlogmas in this intro before I show you guys all the other clips. I did miss it, but yesterday I had a tiny red Velociraptor. Just so you guys can see, this is what I opened yesterday. And today we have, if I can get this guy open. There we go. Oh, we got a Christmas tree. This Christmas tree is in my favorite color. It's in this, the sage mint color. I had to make some custom stuff for me, which I mentioned before. And it was in this color. Obviously used up the rest of the filament. So luckily enough, I got the tree that was made in that color and not the classic tree. So that's cool. His feet dangle. And they also hide, so it can be just a tree. And then he can also like stand up on his own and stuff as well. So he's going to go in the bucket. I did also get a order from that same company. The company is Printomancy. They're local to me. They ship all over the country though. They do live shows and what everything else. I will put their social media in the description, but they have lives on Wednesday and Friday on Whatnot, which is a selling platform. Today is Friday of me recording this. I got this stuff on Wednesday and it got here today, so it can be really fast. First I got this big axolotl, which is the whole reason I wanted to show you guys. I basically only auctioned on him because of the color, and he's so cute and I love it, but he's actually pretty big, so I don't mind. So we have this guy, and then I also got a dark blue dragon with these pretty color changing horns. It's like purple and green, I think, which I think is really cool. I can't tell. Yeah, okay. In the dark blue. I have one of these dragons made in this color. I got him to print me one. I haven't shown you, I might have shown you guys before, I'm not sure, but this exact dragon in that color, and then like just brown horns, sand horns? Maybe it's brown, I can't tell. So I did buy a dark blue one, which will probably go to my dad, and I also got this guy. It's a snake, and his mouth opens, look at that. That's so cool. And it's green, blue, and purple, it looks like. And it's pretty long as well, look at that. But I do like that his mouth opens and closes. I'm pretty sure I got this from my dad as well, so. Yeah, that's cool that got here today, really fast. It does help that we're local, so even though it ships, it's pretty fast, but it usually only takes a few days anyway. So I'm gonna throw some footage together based on what I have, and then I'll see you guys in the outro. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Catalina, owner of Krafts made by Cat, a small business that sells cute handmade goods. And if you're back for another video, thank you for coming back. This video, as you can see by the title, I am going to be making a giant strawberry cereal. I don't know if I've ever showed this on my channel before. I have posted this on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't know if I've ever recorded it for you guys, which is why I decided to sit down and make this video. Also, real quick, I do not have my tripod. I left my big tripod in the car after my last event, and it's got the attachment that I need to put the GoPro on my like handheld tripod that I usually have you guys on, and I didn't buy any spares, and I haven't asked my mom for her car keys to go grab it, and I'm probably not going to do that until I go and unpack the car on Thursday because she needs it. So I'm probably just going to leave you guys sitting around on things. I literally filmed an entire video, and I just put you guys on all sorts of different things around my room because I didn't have any sort of tripod. I think you guys fit perfectly where you are though, right here. ignore my dog, you can see her right there. So this kind of works out, but that's why it's a little bit different. But back to the point of this video, I'm going to be making a giant strawberry sea turtle. These are huge turtles. I sell these turtles for $100, and I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. When you see how long it takes and you see how much yarn I use and you see how big it turns out, you will understand, which is another reason I wanted to make this video. But I decided I'm finally going to show you guys. I have sold 2 of these giant strawberry sea turtles in the past, within a month span of me doing markets, because I have like a big stretch of markets. I started, I think, back up in the end of September. I had a couple that gapped, and now I'm just every single weekend, and I have one. I've had one every single weekend for like a month now. I think more than that. And I still have a few weekends to go. So I want to make this turtle. So to make this turtle, I use Sweet Snuggles Light. Sweet Snuggles from Michaels, and I use the color pink, which is their light pink color, for the body. And then the strawberry shell, I use the color rose, which is their dark pink. And then I use their white for the details on the shell. And then I use their agave color. I don't think they call it agave in this size. They call it, oh, they do, okay. I use their agave for the stem. So this is the agave I'm going to need, so I'm just going to grab it. And I think I have a cake of white back here. Yep, sure do. Right here for the details. So I think everything I need is now on my desk. I have measured this out before, so I know like the cost of everything and stuff like that, and I can get into that at the end. But I am not going to like redo the math for this. I am actually recalculating my pricing for all of my products and switching to Premier yarn, but this yarn is going to stay the same, so I don't need to worry about that. So for these yarns, I use an 8mm hook. Hobby Lobby doesn't have an 8mm in this type of hook, which is now my go-to hooks. So I use Susan Beats. I'll probably buy like a resin one from somebody in the future, but just for right now, I have an 8mm hook. And then I use Crochet by Jenna's small child pattern. I know I have it printed out over there, and I'm probably going to use the paper form just because it's easier. I use her regular sea turtle pattern for all my other turtles, so never mind. They're actually all still stacked up on my desk right over here. There it is. So this is the pattern that I use. You can see how big it is kind of in the picture, but you'll see how big it is when I'm done making it. I'm trying not to run my dog over with my chair. So obviously I'm not going to show you guys me making this entire thing, because this takes me a little under 3 hours to make, like, of actual crocheting time, and that's not, well, that includes stuffing and sewing and everything, but it does not include breaks, pausing and playing videos and stuff like that. So instead of showing you everything, I am just going to cut to each part. So each time I finish a fin, the head, all that good stuff, and then you will see the total process, and then I will tell you guys the cost breakdown and so on and so forth. It is 1:13 and I finished the first fin. I don't know when I started, but I was messing around for a while, so I actually took way longer because I was doing other things as well, but I'm gonna try to stick to it as best I can. So 1:13 and I finished the first fin. Okay, it is now 1:37 and I finished the second big fin. No, it does not take me 20 minutes to crochet one of these fins. I was taking care of some other stuff before I started the second fin again, because I cannot seem to stay focused on finishing this giant turtle. So the 2 big front fins are done. I'm gonna get started on the back fins, but I do need to order a couple of things on Amazon, so I'm gonna do that, and then I will show you guys after I finish the first back fin. Okay, so it is 2 o'clock. I finished the one of the smaller back fins, just the first one. And I finished the first skein of yarn, so I had to dig a little bit into the second skein to finish off that small fin. But since it's 2 o'clock, I do need to take the dogs out because it's time for them to do it's their bathroom time. And then I need to switch out my laundry, and then while I'm outside with them, I am going to edit some sort of something to post for short form content. And then I'm going to get a little bit of ice to put in here because this is now warm. I like it warm, but it just dries out my mouth. So we're going to do all that, and then I'm going to crochet the other fin, and then I will show you guys when I'm done with the other fin, and you'll see how much of a time gap there is. Okay, it is 2:35. The sun is blinding me right now, but I have the second small fin done. So we have both small fins, and we have both big fins all completed. So then I'm going to do the tail, and then the head, and then start working on the shell. The tail's not going to take but a couple minutes, so I am not going to show you guys when I'm done with that, but I will show you guys when I'm done with both the tail and the head and give you the time for that one. Okay, the time is 3:01. So I finished the tail, which I love how big it is compared to like the regular size tails. And then this is the head. So the head, surprisingly enough, fits almost around my head. Look at that. Look how big. That thing is huge. So don't worry, I will roll this, but I did just take a shower. Huge head. The eyes still need to go on it, but I tend to slack when I have to put the eyes on this because I'm usually, when I make this turtle, I'm usually into crocheting. And so I usually leave adding the eyes for the very end. I did finish the second skein, finishing that head. So now both of these are completely, they were brand new and they're completely used up. And I dig a good way into this third one, but I don't finish the third one because all that's left now is the under part of the belly. So I don't use up that whole skein. But now I need to make the shell, and I'm going to, I know the sun's in the way, but I'm going to be using the dark pink color. I have thought about this before. So the whole reason I use dark pink is because my regular size strawberry sea turtles that are like one of my best selling bigger items, when I made it, I was using Sweet Snuggles Light, and they did not have just like a regular bright red color. So then I went with dark pink instead. Now Premier obviously has a poppy, which is like a bright red that I can switch to. And on top of that, Sweet Snuggles does have a bright red color, like just red in this size yarn. But I kind of stuck with dark pink because that's what people liked. So I'm worried that if I make it red, maybe people won't like it as much because obviously strawberries are red. But I kind of feel like the dark pink works with the light pink. So I don't know if I want to try it out on smaller turtles and see if there's like a influx of people who prefer the red over the pink, or people will still stick to the pink. But I don't want to go and make one of these giant turtles and then people not like it, because then I will have a giant turtle in red that no one's going to want. Now in theory, if that's the case, I can always cut, I know that sounds terrible, but like I could cut the head and the fins and all that off and then replace the shell back to the original dark pink, which is what I do, and then kind of just redo the bottom body and then add the pieces back on, and I wouldn't waste a whole lot of yarn or the plushie. But I don't know if I want to risk it, and I haven't decided yet. So I might make a couple in red in the regular size, but for this one I'm going to stick with the dark pink because I know it sells. So I'm going to go ahead and make the shell. The shell, not the shelf, the shell. So it's way later, and I just finished the shell. Look how big it is. It fits on my head. It's a hat with a lip. It's a hat with a lip. So, and I made the stem. I kind of just winged this, and it's got 5. I think normally I put 4, but it's okay. This time it has 5, and it fits better anyway. So I made this, so I put the green away. So that's why. It's been like 7 hours though. So This is going to go on here. And then the white is going to be in like little hearts for all the little seeds. But I don't do that till the end, to when it's stuffed. It looks better that way. So now I'm going to start doing the bottom with the back loop. And then add the fins and so on and so forth. So I don't know when I'll show you again, but it's going to be later. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I did get to the point last night where I need to stop and stuff it. So there's just a few rows left. As you can see, the majority is done. But, oh, making a mess. This guy takes a while to stuff though, because I have to like stand up and stuff because it's just so big. And I do also like to use my yarn scraps when I make this guy in both the head and the body. And this entire trash can is yarn scraps. Look at that. This whole thing. So, I'm actually going to show you guys how I do it. So, I just take a whole bunch of stuffing, and in small portions, obviously. And I just put a good chunk in there to start off with because I need to create a border around the plushie to just stuff this guy. I did see a technique that someone did where I guess with these big plushies they actually stuff a pillowcase and to match the shape, and then they put the pillowcase inside the plushie, so like there's no stuffing throughout the holes. I have noticed with this yarn I don't have as many problems with holes in big items like this, because, or at least this item in particular, because it's so big and the yarn is thick, but I still use a pretty small sized hook. So the only problem with stuffing this guy is that stuffing him and making his shell the round shape is hard to do because you're always having it on something in order to stuff it. And I gotta stand up for this part. And it gets hard to keep the shell shape while it's on a desk. So I do a lot of the shaping with stuffing, and then I fill in the center with yarn scraps. So see how it's a little pointy right there? We don't want that. So I kind of just like, you gotta kind of force it. Now when I sew the stem on, that's going to help solve a big portion of this problem. But I still try to do as much of the shaping as I can without relying on the stem to make it better. So, problem is when I go to dig in the middle to put the extra in, it tends to not leave any stuffing at the bottom, and that's what causes the pointy shape because there's no stuffing in there. Okay, it's a pretty decent outer coating, but if you can see inside, there's a huge hole. So this is where I'm going to add the yarn scraps. Just gotta make sure there's a thick enough layer on the outside. I can adjust and move stuffing and all of that. This usually takes me a few tries just to make sure I get it right. So now that it's sitting like this, I can stuff a good chunk of this in here. And because it's yarn scraps, there's a lot of fluff that just flies everywhere. So I try my best. I don't even know how that got in there. To keep it as close as possible so that not a whole lot of extra fluff comes out of here. And then I kind of just build around the outside here so that he holds his shape. This is the point after I've added the extra, because every time I make one of these I usually have an entire trash can full of yarn scraps, which is fine. It kind of works, and it's kind of a, I fill the trash can, I make a big plushie. It's just convenient that I have to make these because I've already had to make these a couple times, and I don't mind. It just takes a few hours, but it's still very fun to do. So it's not like making a regular big plushie that you're just not gonna want to make over and over and over again because it's so tedious. It's not that bad. There's quite a bit of increasing, but it's pretty simple enough that I don't mind making this guy. And people love him, so. Okay. So, I'm still kind of just stuffing. There's still a ways to go, but I'm kind of just giving it its shape a bit. That's pretty good. So now we're going to flip this guy back upside down. We're going to continue to stuff here at the top, but not too much because you don't want holes in between the stitching. We're at, I think I did the 3 decrease right where it tells you to stop. Yeah. So I just need to do 3 more rounds of this, and then we just cut off a tail. I tend to leave a pretty long tail, like a dramatic tail, for this type of yarn because sewing with this yarn can shed really easily. And I got about half a skein left, so I used 2.5 skeins to make this turtle in just the light pink color. That is not including the dark pink, the white, or the green that I also use. Working now just looks like a pink turtle, which is fun. And then I use this 5-inch needle. I use this for everything now, but it's even better on these bigger plushies. And then I'm just going to sew this hole closed. So I just go through the remaining 6 stitches in the front loop only, and just sew this guy closed. And then once I do that, I'm going to pull on it to make the hole disappear. And then this is how I secure all of my sewing. So I take the needle, I go in 1 stitch and come out whatever stitch is next to it. It doesn't have to be down, it can be across. And then I have a hoop and a line because I haven't pulled this yarn all the way through. And then I just take the needle and put it through the hoop, pull it that way, and it forms a knot there, and I just make the knot flush. And then you do as you normally do, and you take the needle and you pull it into another side and hide it. So I always cut a little extra and then just stuff it in there. Thankfully, since the turtle is so big, I've had no problems with ends coming out. But I do always tell people when I get asked or someone messages me saying that tails have come out, it's secure. I sewed it, like there's knots. It's just sometimes the end tails come out because you don't want to cut it flush. And you just tuck it back in. So, this is how he's looking right now. You can see, cute, giant tail, which I think is funny, but still small comparatively. So now it just looks like a pink turtle, and I still think he's cute like this, but we are not done yet. So I actually do the head next, so I kind of add the shell details after to kind of go with the head. So we have the head, and the eyes need to be added. I need to find the other thread, it's the backing, and my hot glue gun. So we're gonna plug this bad boy in, and it needs to heat up, which takes a few minutes. So I give it a few minutes to dry because there is so much extra hot glue in this one. It takes longer, but sometimes I don't actually let it dry all the way before I start stuffing it, because then the stuffing sticks to the eye, the back, the inside, and that's even better. So when I'm holding it up, you can see they're much farther apart. I know it's pointy, don't worry. They're much farther apart. And then I'm just going to start stuffing the turtle as well, or the turtle head as well. So same thing, I'm going to put a whole bunch to border it, and then I'm going to put that extra yarn ends to fill in all the gapping. So this guy needs to be shaped more too, because his head hangs off of the turtle body. You'll see when I sew it on there in a minute. So this head needs to be much more firm. So a lot more stuffing is involved, but there isn't as many holes, just me. Now we got the head. Again, not completely stuffed because I will add more stuffing to it. Actually, this centerpiece is giving me problems. Now we have to sew the head to the body. This part is always just a bit obnoxious because it's just so dang big. So here is the top. This is where the head's going to go, in between the two big fins. I take a knitting needle, I take a long one, and I shove it straight into where the magic ring is, so the direct circle center of the hen, and just poke it all the way through like that. And I know it's not a lot, which is why we use a couple more knitting needles, because that's just not enough. And I always make the sewing on the bottom. And then we're just gonna stick this in the middle of here. This is what it's gonna look like that, so that it lays flat like that. You got the head. It might look crooked, but I promise you it's not. It's just the way I'm holding it. So then we lay this guy down. He needs a little bit of support, so he's gonna lean on my MacBook. And this part is a pain because there's so much extra yarn. I probably should be doing this with acrylic yarn just to make it easier on me. Let me see if I got some paint back here. We're gonna use this instead. So I know I saved all this yarn, but it's okay. We're just going to sew this in here. Alright, it's been a little while. My camera got too hot. I did finish sewing on the head real quick. So this is now what it looks like. And then all I have left to do is to add the stem and the seed detail. So all I do is I just take this and I just shove it into the stem that I made. And I put it directly where the magic ring is. And again, I leave the sewing in the back. Then we're gonna stick this in there. And just like that, the stem is on. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add the seeds. Okay, it's finally done. It didn't take me too long to sew on the details, but I know the sun is kind of in a painful spot. This is what he looks like. So I kind of just wing it and I do whatever, and I go with the flow. So you see all of them on there. Stems on top, and then light pink body, dark pink shell, and this is it. This is him completed. And then obviously the eyes as well. Here he is. You can see him compared to me. He is the size of my chest. I can't really stand up because my dog is behind my chair, but I am 5'3", and I'm sitting down, so quite a few. I can actually take a measuring tape to this. 27 inches from the front to the back. 27 by 31, about a foot. So it looks like from the bottom to the tip of this. So 27 by 31 by 12, I think is what I said. Rough numbers. Obviously, every time I make one, it's not going to be the exact same size, but that's how huge this guy is. And I sell this for $100, which I know I said that in the beginning of the video. I spent $36.87 on materials. This includes yarn, stuffing, safety eyes, and the tag that goes along with it for my markets. I am readjusting my prices. I'm switching yarn, so obviously that's going to change the price of what it costs to make a plushie. Some prices are going to change because of the fact that I'm switching yarn types and I get it online. I don't think this is going to be one of the items, but if it is, it would only jump to like 110 maybe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on anything. I have no idea yet. But like I was saying, $36.87 on materials, $32.55 in labor cost. I currently charge $15 an hour. I think I'm going to change that in the new year. But that's just what I had it set at to start. So that's over 2 hours of work. And so the product cost between materials and labor is $69.42. If I charge $100, which I do, my profit is $30.58, which is a 30% profit margin. So my profit margins for my bigger items are always smaller than the profit margins of like my mini whales. So that's why I plan on resetting everything. But you can see every time I make one of these turtles, I only profit $30 for my business. And it's not stable. It's better than me being negative. But I do know that is going to have to change in the future. Okay, guys, I have no idea what I put in the clips for this video, but I needed something to post for Vlogmas today to get back to the daytime, because the last couple nights I've been posting really late and I don't want to do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!